Okay.
So
All right.
I welcome Varun on behalf of Impetus and all the students who are here. He happens to be our alumni, and it is great to have you, Varun, over here to address to students. But you have made me a promise. Don't forget, you're going to address a bigger number of students next time on future technologies. That's a promise that you have made.
Sure. Absolutely.
Okay. Today, Varun is going to address all of you, those who are from, especially from third year engineering students. Varun is going to address your concern. The concern that it's not just for the third year students, it's for everybody. The world is changing so very fast. Technologies are evolving so very fast. And we have this new concept of honors program that has now been introduced by Pune University. And I think it's for good that they have introduced, although it's an optional thing. Student may take up that additional subject, may not take up an additional subject. And the four choices that have been provided are AI, ML, data science, and cybersecurity. Today's discussion, we are going to restrict the scope of today's discussion because we would like to get most out of Varun the next session that we are going to conduct, webinar. And let me tell you a brief about Varun. I remember Varun as a very passionate kind of person as far as technology goes. He's one person who troubled me a lot as compared to any other student that I have come across. He not just troubled me, he troubled our staff as well. Because never ever he left after the lecture, he would spend another half an hour after the lecture once again. So if the lecture gets over at 9, he will be there at the office till 9:30. I remember the days. It was 2012, Varun. When was it?
It was 2008-9 actually.
8-9. Okay. It was 2008-9. And that was a time when Varun was talking about the virtual reality. Now, the things are in news today. So, why did I ask Varun to come and address to you all? Because I saw in him the eagerness and that aptitude to learn or explore the new things which are coming up. 2008, almost 12 years back, he was talking about virtual reality, which people today say it's an in thing. This is a technology that we have to learn today. And I remember he telling me a story about means that was the first time even I got to know about it. It is he who had shared with me how the images are superimposed on a stadium when the players are playing, how the ads are being displayed. I still remember that example. And that was something of an information for me as well. When you play cricket, when you see the telecast of a cricket game, you saw those ads which are there on the football ground. That's an example that he had shared with me, and that was 12 years back. So I throw open this particular session for Varun. Welcome, Varun, once again. I'm very happy to have you here. And students, as he finishes it with his initial talk, you can ask whatever queries that you have. Today's session will not trouble him much. Let's keep it restricted to say around 20 odd minutes or as what Varun can spare. And we will keep something for the next lengthy session that we're going to have. Well, Varun, it's up to you now.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. So actually, I managed to uh, prepare a presentation, but I think the sharing screen is disabled right now.
Oh, no, you will
But
have
I
it.
can.
You have an access.
Okay. Great. Thanks. Um, all right. I'm just trying out. This is the first time I'm using
Yeah. There is
Zoom.
a button called as share screen. You can just click
Yeah,
on share screen.
yeah. Is my screen visible right now?
Oh, we can see you.
Share the desktop.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to do it twice actually.
Okay.
Is it visible? Is it
Very
visible
much.
now?
Yes, yes, sir.
All right. So today we're gonna talk and probably basically take a little bit of a peek into the technology trends of 2020 and 2021. It's bad to say 2020 and 2021 because of the whole pandemic. It seems like we have had an unprecedented, effect, an external force on the field of, the entire world market, and definitely we need to probably take a look at it in a closer trends moving forward. But so I structured this talk into talking a little bit about all the specializations essentially are which are offered by Pune University right now. And we're going to start with overall, what do I think about it? And then we'll probably dwell into individual specializations and maybe look at what are the trends, market trends, and how things are going on. What do I feel about the technology itself? And we can have questions and answers, and we can keep it informal. You guys can keep asking me questions. So let me know if you have any questions. Just raise your hands and just ask anytime you want. All right. So moving on, one of the first things that I wanted to talk about is
Varun,
about
before you
technology.
start, can you just briefly introduce yourself as well?
Okay. I was trying to keep it to the end. Okay.
Okay, you can
By
take
the
it
way,
at the end then. No issues.
yes, I'll keep it at the end. I just
Yeah.
want to give maximum time to the students,
Yes.
essentially. All right. Okay. So overall, when we say that we have a technology trend going on, what does it exactly mean for us? So Gartner actually publishes a hype chart or a hype graph every year. And this is one of them. And what I want you to take from this is that there are a couple of stages of a technology, essentially. It starts with an innovation trigger wherein a new innovation comes in, research comes in, and that gives a promise of something that is great and awesome that can be made into a product and can help, in a global trend, can help companies make revenue as well as be noble enough for the world to take on. And then it starts working on it. Jobs are created, engineers are being leveraged for the technology, experimentations are done, and initial products are ruled out. Once that happens, we see a little bit of a peak of the inflated expectation, wherein we have expected enough, and we try to solve everything with every technology. And definitely the last one that I can think of is big data. I don't know why people are saying that big data is going to solve everything. Right now, nobody's talking about big data, to be honest. It's just one of the technologies. And definitely that goes to the trough of disillusionment, wherein the technology essentially tries to dial down towards what exactly are things that you can achieve, what are the limitations, and how much realistically we can achieve with one technology as an engineering as well as from the academic standpoint. And then slowly and steadily it starts gaining up once again, and we start seeing the enlightenment and the productivity, and then we see sustained products. And I'm going to talk about some of them, which specializations are in which category right now. So I thought this might be helpful. Overall, the course structures that has been defined are pretty good for you guys. The specializations are good. It's up to you whether you want to take courses after courses. It's just that once you have done it, you are pretty much going to be an expert in one of these directions, which is great because all of these technologies have specialized individuals which can help you out in your industry transitions and will reduce the cost of your education in terms of when you go to the industry and try to learn while you are on the job. So I think this is a great idea. I completely endorse what Pune University is doing right now. It has a balance of both theoretical and practical knowledge. Of course, most of these technologies have the practical component to it. So this is great. Have a lot of potential, and can pivot here and there due to lack of resources. And I'm gonna just leave it up to that, because it depends upon how your professors in the college are, also taking this forward. So it depends upon that too. And the last one is that there are ample study material for all of these. So yeah, that's what I think about. Um, Going towards the first specialization, essentially, the AI and ML. If you take a look at how the software trends have been, especially in the Asia Pacific, the artificial intelligence market has actually grown n-folds. It has literally been an exponential growth. We have seen a lot of overall applications coming from driverless cars. Here in Cupertino, if you go out, you can see all over the place where cars are driving by themselves. There are no drivers. So all of these things essentially are things that you need to consider when you want to learn these technologies. They have a very sizable market. They are actually taking over the traditional market. Essentially, we have already solved the problems that are logical in nature, and now we are moving towards problems that are not logical in nature, which are hard, which cannot be solved by simple decision trees. And so we are moving towards an AI and ML sort of a route. Artificial intelligence, essentially, if I have to give one sentence of what exactly artificial intelligence is, it's a way by which we actually try to program a computer so that computer can be intelligent. And now, philosophically speaking, intelligence itself has it's a very big concept, and maybe we can reserve it for future discussions. But you can think about it as whether acting like human, like a Terminator movie, is that intelligence, or whether acting like Google when it autocorrects you is intelligent, or what. So there are stochastic intelligence versus non-stochastic intelligence. So there are multiple quadrants over there that can be explored. And if somebody has any question, maybe we can talk about that. So think about this. There are problems that are hard in nature, which we are able to crack it by our intelligence. However, computer with the limited amount of decision tree is not able to. Those are the problems that are coming in the artificial intelligence. ML essentially is machine learning, wherein you feed in or supervise it through the data, create your own decision tree, and then try to solve a hard problem that you haven't seen before by taking an example from before. So you supervise your learning, and then you basically create a decision tree out of it, and then you solve a problem, like watching an object and perceiving what exactly it is. The course itself, the thing that I see in your course structure is again, it's well structured. I would like to give a special shout out that they are teaching computational statistics, which is actually very important for ML. So that's a great start. Uh, there are abundant online material for you guys to carry on towards for these things. There are courses, there are PDFs. You can take a look at whatever. So additional to what you are learning in class, I think if you want to do more, you can actually do it. And introduction to Python, I don't know how many of you are third-year students, but when we were studying, Python wasn't something that we were taught in engineering colleges because it was so new as such. But Python is very powerful. Now we know it. It's something that every engineer should have it in in their bag of magic powers. And I think Python is something that you're going to learn. And this essentially has a potential for a capstone project. So yeah, these are the good things. Some of the problems that you might encounter is basically the data can be a little bit difficult to gather. These things are normally guarded behind corporate, but yes, they are all open source data sets that you can use for doing your programming and your experimentation. So that's good. Good visualization tools are unfortunately not available. And I would point out to one of the images that are there on the slide above. If you guys haven't seen, go ahead and check OpenAI. They actually create a simulation for a hide and seek kind of a simulated environment, all created by AI, and how the seekers are learning how to obstruct the room so that they can hide from that. So I found it quite interesting, and this is a very recent one. So thought I'll just put it over here. The course doesn't talk about CNNs. I hope it'll be something that will come up somewhere, but convolutional neural networks is the newer trend right now in the market, so probably something to look at. And it can actually get a little bit theoretical because it's mathematics. You should have a little bit of mathematics background. Now, going to the next one, Internet of Things. I can talk about hours on this. Embedded programming has been a bread and butter for the Silicon Valley from ages. And now that we are able to bring that to a smaller platform with the start of Raspberry Pi and Arduino boards, we are able to, essentially gather a lot of data and control a lot of environments around us, which with internet. If I can look into my house, I can think about uh, tens and thousands of things that are essentially IoT based. Let it be the smart lights, let it be Alexa talking to somebody, or even my sprinklers, the backyard sprinklers essentially are looking at the area weather and then basically making a prediction. So it's something that is so interesting that it's going to keep growing. And if you can see the market trends overall, USD 2014 to 25, we are seeing a great trend towards towards IoT, jump of the market share too. And this is something that's really important. Very easy to get a capstone project. It's almost like something that you can play around with on your own time also. Special shout out to ML and IoT security, because these are things that people don't talk about in sensor world, in the embedded world. Um, so you have to understand that it's not only talking to the sensors, but actually sensors being able to hook up to the internet so that you can basically get information and meaningful data out of it, and then create an intelligent ecosystem around it. And those are the things that are really interesting and important. Fundamentals such as MQTT and Zigbees are clearly important, and I think the course that has been given to you mentions it. So I guess it's a good thing. A little bit of hardware enthusiast, hardware electronics enthusiast probably will find it really good. Some people are not, so that's why I mentioned it as a con. And it can get expensive with expensive sensors. Good thing is that expenses are cheaply available too. So probably that might help you guys a little bit. Working with platforms can be frustrating. I know I work on a platform. I work with Raspberry Pis or day in and day out. And what my MacBook takes probably a minute or two to compile, my Raspberry Pi takes 4 hours to compile one single unit of stack of the code that I'm working on. So it can get a little bit frustrating because it's a low power. It is constrained, but actually it teaches you a lot of things. It teaches you frugality when you are a programmer and you are an engineer. So that's actually a very good point. And these are the things that probably you're gonna remember from your impetus days later on, that how frugal you can be. And we have learned a lot with Rishikesh sir about these things, and we'll talk about that too. Um, uh, Coming to the next course, that is honors in cybersecurity. Now, if you take a look at cybersecurity essentially looks to be a great idea, because we see a lot of vulnerabilities, but with existing software market being hardened and everything moving towards cloud, cybersecurity companies are, even big companies like McAfee's, are bought and sold multiple times in the last 5 years I have seen in the Bay Area. What does that mean is that it's although it's something that is going to continue to be important, it's on the path of the sustained growth now, and it is not on the hype section of it, which other two that we have mentioned so far, AI, ML, and Internet of Things, they are pretty much on the hype shoot up. So it's easier to get a job, revenues are easier to generate over there. Cybersecurity, not so much, because it's something that we have been trying to solve from 1990s and 1980s, when we first started hooking up machines over internet. You can look at multiple Hollywood movies where they try to hack into everything. Those backdoors does not exist anymore in the market unless it is intentionally created. And so all these software, even Windows operating systems, are very hardened and have a sudo model of Linux, which lets it be a little bit more, susceptible. I mean, more or less susceptible to the technology, which is vulnerabilities essentially. And it's hard essentially. It's a hard problem, of course. RSA itself is an NP hard problem, so that gives a lot over there. So that's one of the things that I would say about it. but it starts with advanced cryptography, and cryptography essentially is a fundamental of computer sciences. Even if you don't take this honors courses, definitely take cryptography as one of your courses, because you will need this kind of things from time to time. Um, Next thing that I would like to talk about is the data sciences. And now the real confusion comes in that, what is the difference between AI, ML, and data sciences? Data sciences essentially are more focused towards gathering and interpreting data. So your job essentially is to find local minimas and maximas in your data points, which you can contour out, and you can say that, hey, this is something meaningful or this is not. Or I might have some predisposition because my data is something is a little bit skewed. So these are the kind of things that you essentially work with. You work with Python and R. R essentially is pretty much a de facto data science language. It's similar to MATLAB, but for data sciences, if you ever worked with that. Um, it has some overlaps with AI and ML. I'm not gonna, lie about that. But if you look at the ML side of things, ML basically looks at creating decision trees, wherein data scientists are looking at how they can extract meaningful information from the data. Visualization is definitely an art. So yeah, that's something that's to look forward to. Uh, Data sciences can get a little bit less technical because you're looking at data and you're looking at domain, and domain specific data can be something that's a lot more important. Yeah, similar to that, the tangible contributions can be less because you don't see how the visualizations are being utilized and how processing are being utilized essentially. um, so if you take a look at special mention to essentially to Kaggle. If you haven't heard of Kaggle, Kaggle hosts a lot of AI and ML programming competitions. This is one of them that I participated, in which you can actually look at the sonography of the heart, and with the sonography of heart you can actually expand and contract and take a look at the images and come up to a conclusion whether heart has a tendency of being in the right health or not. This is actually a very important data point and can really result in saving millions of lives around the globe. So that's an interesting one. Coming to the honors of VR and AR, and I think that's a very interesting one. The word itself, AR, was coined in 2009-10 timeframe. When I was first looking at it, I was one of the students at Imperius Technologies. This is something that is, it's still something that that technology has not been able to figure out a very practical application yet. It's something that is that's still there in the market. The product itself is not. Notable companies, if I have to say, are Facebook, are Amazon, maybe even Magic Leap. Magic Leap is actually a pioneer in creating AR glasses. If I have to give a one-liner about what AR versus VR is, VR is a technology which cuts you from the outside world and gives you a virtual reality sort of an environment. Whereas AR essentially lets you see the environment and superimposes images, as we were talking about it a little bit before, and graphics, so that it can give you more meaningful data. A clear example of AR is something that a person is doing and seeing the rest of the world and trying to get more information. You'll be surprised how many awesome technologies are built out of that. Even Google Street View, essentially, when I was walking a couple of months ago
എന്നെ ചെക്ക്
in in Seattle, uh, when I was working in Seattle, the Street View essentially lets you take a look at the buildings and tell you which direction you want to go in live while you are in the camera feed. So these are the things that are there. And this technology has seen a little bit of a hype, but I think it is on the downward trend, only because there's no market of people, and technology is expensive right now, and the market for people who individually want to buy these products are difficult. But there are multiple companies that are coming up, such as medical companies, surgical instrument companies which are actually investing a lot in these, and that's where we are seeing some or the other growth patterns. So that's what the AR and VR honors technology is. So I think I want to give more opportunity to students to ask questions. So if you guys have any general questions about the courses, about the trends, or about any of these, please do ask. I'll try to my best to answer the questions.
Yes, all of the engineering students, whoever has a query, you have been asking me so many questions. Now you have the best person to have an answer to.
Sir, I just wanted to ask. I don't know anything about data science, ML, and AI, and I'm eager to
Mhm.
learn. I'm eager to learn both of them. So, what will you recommend me, like, to start off
So
with?
yeah, so I'm gonna say if you want a general idea behind what artificial intelligence and ML and data sciences is, um, you gotta give a brief introduction to each and every one of them in the beginning. Uh, Artificial intelligence was something that we have been talking about right from 1950s, 60s, and 70s, where we wanted to make intelligent machines. Probably you can take maybe a 1 hour online, you can watch some online YouTube videos, and probably or ask somebody who has been into the field to give you a little bit of an understanding of what AI is. Um, Machine learning came in later on, wherein we started with supervised and unsupervised learning, and now we are at the field of deep learning essentially. Um, what I mean to say over here is that if you want to have a general knowledge of everything, I think the best one to go forward towards is AI and ML spatialization, because it'll pretty much entangle everything. Because if you take a look at it, there are overlaps of AI and ML with everything. Even with IoT, you will see an AI ML overlapping with cybersecurity, and unfortunately, it has not been mentioned over here. But cybersecurity nowadays come up with an artificial intelligence component too. We see that with Amazon AWS and Google Cloud coming up with these technologies. And these are the companies which are asking for these individuals more often. They want security professionals. You will see smaller players in the market, but the major players which are essentially working towards cybersecurity are the cloud, because the security is moving towards cloud. Edge computing is relatively stable now in terms of technologies. Data science itself essentially will definitely talk about AI and ML, and so I would recommend go with AI and ML and explore a little bit, see if you can take a look at these technologies holistically, and then probably move towards what you want to go towards. And it's not that if you take a course or two, you will probably end up not taking these side of things. You might say that, hey, I mean, I'm not interested in it. So essentially, this is what the trends are, and this is what you should probably look at. Did I answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you so much, sir.
Anybody else has a question?
Yes, sir. I have a question. Am I
Please.
audible?
Hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
So just wanted to ask that, okay, how the C++ technologies can be useful to explore this MI and AI, ML and AI. So can we explore
Interesting.
this using C++?
Absolutely. You can use C++ in everything. C++ is the fundamental of all the technologies. Um, so if you have heard about some of the technologies and the tools that are available. So if you have heard of TensorFlow is one of the platforms that are being developed at Google, which lets you perform all the artificial intelligence and machine learning algorithms on top of any language, specifically C and C++. So you can definitely look at technology as a whole. I would refrain from that, because technology is a tool. You should always have a bunch of technologies in your pack. In fact, I don't see a functional programming language as one of the requirements, but definitely if you guys are learning Lisp or Guile or any other functional programming language, you should definitely explore those with AI and ML. It's more intuitive as what we think, and gives you a lot of understanding about how recursions and how functionally a component is being written. So think about this. As a programmer, you need to have certain things in your in your bag of magic, magic bag essentially. You need some imperative language. You're learning from the best. Rishikesh sir, I think he teaches the best C, C++ according to me. He has ample knowledge as well as depth of all the courses that you're learning. So you are done with imperative programming, even Java, to be honest. So these three languages are imperative in nature, although they are object oriented. Some of them are object oriented too. Then you need to learn a little bit of scripting. So I'm going to say Python is one of the most powerful of all of the languages right now, and it's still not going down. There's nothing better than that is still available, and most likely it won't be for a long time. And then you can think about some functional languages such as Lisp or maybe something similar to that. So think of yourself as a polyglot engineer rather than just a technology specific engineer. So technology will enable you, but you may have to learn one technology or the other, because some things can be done easier in some technologies versus the other. So I'm going to say, yes, there are multiple ways to use C, C++. In fact, I'm going to tell you one important thing. While you are learning about TensorFlow, you would also be able to use GPU to actually program the GPU to leverage the GPU cores instead of your CPU cores, which could be anywhere 192 cores on your laptop. So you can actually do a lot of parallel programming, and that's something that is quite interesting, new, something that NVIDIA came up with in 2008-9, but is still trending. So something to look forward to. Yeah.
Yeah. So you just mentioned about the GPU core. So is it that you're talking about the HPP, the CUDA, and OpenCL?
Yeah.
Okay.
HPP, CUDA, OpenCL, Open MPI, OpenMP, all of these. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Mhm.
Anybody else has a question?
Yeah, and don't worry about it. If it is a general question, it's perfectly all right. Just ask. Uh,
Yeah. Hello, sir. Yeah.
yeah.
So, like, what if I don't opt for honors degree right now?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
like, how much impact will it create when I'll be opting for higher studies, like MS?
So I don't think it'll have any impact. You need to have certain fundamental courses, which your program would definitely make you have it. Other than these specializations, specializations generally help in making you realize your focus on certain things that you are interested in, and they are built up like that. These honor courses essentially are implemented so that if student wants to go in certain route, they can go for it. And that's something that some people are not interested in. Some people want to have a broader knowledge about probably all the technologies. And so you will have a broader technologies. You won't have the depth of that knowledge, but which is perfectly all right, because not everyone wants to go deep into one technology itself, or one area of sciences itself. So it's perfectly all right from that standpoint. I don't think it should matter for higher studies as well as for any other for getting jobs or any other places. Yes, if there are places where you are expected to know certain technologies from end to end, they would rather prefer a specialization rather than a regular engineering program for you. So I guess that's how it is, and that's what I would say it should be.
Okay. And also, so one more question. Like,
Mhm.
basically, we are going to study it either be from SPPU or as an add-on course, right? So at
Mhm.
the end, what matters is skill. So,
Yeah.
like, will it matter if it is under SPPU? like the specialization, or else as an add-on course as well?
Certification matters because then you can certify yourself. Definitely, you can say that, hey, I know this technology, but knowing and having a certificate for that is a little bit of a different thing. And this is similar to having a certification for a specific technology and saying that, hey, I am an expert on that. And it's easier to sell those kind of things. So it does matter, but it really depends upon you whether you want to go and learn one technology end to end and get the feeling and of what tech technology entails, or rather go towards one and then probably choose something else. I'm not sure how the university has structured this thing. Do they allow, once you have taken the courses, if you don't take rest of the courses from that honors, do they allow that thing, or is it strict bound? Once you have taken the route, you have to take these courses.
Yeah,
So that part I am not sure about. Yeah.
yeah, like whatever is conveyed from college, like once we opt, we have to opt it for the next 4 semesters as well.
Yeah, so I think there is a bit of an anxiety related to choosing the courses and then getting stuck with that. Uh, I would say it's perfectly all right to be part of one. It's just that you've got to choose which is something that you can which you can like and you can enjoy in technology in general. Correct me if I'm wrong, sir, Rishikesh sir.
No, that's correct.
So the
Yes.
actual concern is that a college, they are not confirmed whether they are going to provide the faculty or not, and
Yeah.
the amount they are charging is I'm not talking about the amount, but still, if they are
Hmm.
charging me 10,000, and even if they are not teaching me, then what's the use? Like I have to do the self study. So it's better that I do from outside, and pick up a course where I can get the same guidance, and a teacher guides well rather than a self learned person. That's what I think. So that's where my main concern is, that should I opt from SPPO or as an add-on course, because at the end I'm going to learn and I want to learn. That's the only thing, because if I don't get a faculty, I it's going to be a little bit tough to find the material to learn, as well as to gather the data. So
At least what I can tell you from what I have seen in your courses, the data gathering would not be a problem. Studying would not be a problem. Self-studying would not be a problem, because today websites are available which essentially lets you take capstone projects for a particular course, and they're pretty much structured the way it has been given in your honor course content. So what I mean to say is that you would find enough information online to learn about every technology. To be honest, even the I think the one that technology that I say that has least amount of information online probably would be cybersecurity, because it's an old one. But even that, you will be able to find most of the protocols and everything that you're going to learn, and it's mostly theoretical in nature. Nobody is expecting us to now write a new SHA algorithm, because after all, they are mathematicians who've already written it. So these technologies essentially have gone past this state, so you're going to be just using them. So all these things that you want to learn, you probably will be able to find online. I do understand the concern for whether you will get a faculty to learn, and that's something, that's an arrangement that you probably guys can come up with your college, how they're gonna treat this, or what are their general recommendations. It purely depends upon that, and definitely not every college will have faculties for all of these specializations. And even if they attempt to have a faculty, that will probably not be a specialized person for this. So it's something that's to be taken with a pinch of salt. Um, Generally, with the third year and the fourth year content for engineering as well as higher studies, you will see that the involvement of professors are only for administrative purposes. most of the study that you do is mostly self-study. You learn on your own, and then you gather and you form your own opinions about the technology, and that's where the honors part of honor come in. So I guess there are goods and bads both the case, and probably you might have to take a decision on that. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Hmm.
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, I am a mechanical engineer. So can I know how can learning AI and ML will help me with my core?
Okay. Um, so AI and ML can help you learn courses from the point of view that, let's say you have a CAD CAM, designing project, and you want to learn towards how the simulated environment essentially performs, and secondly, how let's say if you are part of a automotive company which is looking for a driverless or a personless car, how that technology can actually help you achieve that from the mechanical point of view. So the automotive company will, the companies all over the world right now are targeting technologies essentially that can let you be in the car but drive autonomously. So those are the things you can learn in terms of computer vision, and that actually comes up with the AR VR side of things also. You can learn computer vision, again, embedded programming related to CUDA. Uh, the Tesla cars are coming up with autonomous driving mechanisms. They do have a NVIDIA Jetson TXI board, which essentially lets you do the CUDA programming and does all the the environment scanning through the 360-degree cameras. They have around 18 to 32 cameras on the car perimeter, and they try to learn the environment as it is going forward. So those are the kind of things that you can probably learn. May not be that 100% you will be able to get there, but if you are interested in computer sciences too, these are the sections that probably will be able to help you out in mechanical as well as computer sciences. Did that answer your question?
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
Sir, I have one more doubt. Sir,
Mhm.
for example, data science is like studying up our data. So learning data science can help me to give a powerful decision in a company,
Yeah.
to take a powerful decision in a company. Then I will have a major role in that company, like, or it's completely different scenario.
Company decisions are different from data sciences. Data sciences, the scientists who are working on data sciences, they get a plethora of data. You can think of it as terabytes and uh, uh, even more than that, zettabytes of data that you get, and you need to scan out something that is important out of it. So those are the granularity of things that essentially goes forward from there. And yes, of course, some of the data are interpreted by higher leadership and management, but that is something that are being done by tools such as Tableaus and visualization. Data visualization is part of it, but visualization versus decision making are completely separate from it. So I would keep those two things separate: data science versus the decision making power.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other question, anybody?
Yes, actually, I had a very general question. So, I have been interested in artificial intelligence and machine learning related fields.
Okay.
But what I have observed is that they usually try to solve a specific problem. For example, if they want
Okay.
to, like driving a car or something like that. So
Sure.
now that machine will only be able to solve problems regarding navigation of a vehicle. But
Yes.
if I want to like design something which has a more general application,
Mm-hmm.
so the machine basically has multiple percepts. It can take a lot of perceptions from outside and
Yeah.
can, for example, if I give him a situation and I try
Mm-hmm.
to ask him to bye Mego, give me the best way to solve this or something like that. So
Okay.
are we like technologically that advanced ki we can solve it? Like just as you said, singularity. So matlab, all the
Yeah.
problems can be solved using a single machine.
Singularity is different. Singularity is a point in time when artificial intelligence and the technologies around it takes over human intelligence and
Okay, yeah.
starts performing better than us. I'm not. Don't get me wrong. I'm not expecting anything such as annihilation of and takeover of technology over the world. I'm talking about performance of technology and intelligence, which is artificially created by us versus our intelligence, essentially, because of the limited power that we have versus what we can create out of a machine. Um, uh, uh, what you're talking about is deep learning, and deep learning essentially is what you can see over here in one of these diagrams, wherein to solve a specific problem, that whether it's a cat or a dog is one thing, but trying to look at anything in the world and get a perception out of it. Machine learning essentially will see the contours and try to match it with the supervised learning, which is similar to the one on the top, wherein multiple receptors, multiple layers of learning layers will essentially let you look at more increasingly complex features and try to get towards the solution. Regarding questions such as, hey, I want to go to a certain place and how can I go? What is the most optimal way to do that? If you guys have already done algorithmic course, it's called a traveling salesman problem. It's an NP hard problem, uh, which is very interesting because Google has actually been able to solve it by constraining some of its parameter by Google Maps. When you say that, hey, I want to go from destination A to destination B to destination C, what are my options? So these are the kind of things that we have been able to solve, and individual areas essentially are deep enough that there has been a lot of research going on, and collating all these things into a single machine to make a sort of like an artificial god of machine, if I may say. It's something that nobody is really expecting to do right now, and nobody would be able to achieve it that soon because it will need to have a lot of domain specific knowledge altogether. The closest we have is Google, wherein it has the knowledge of everything and it translates everything into natural language processing, and that helps it realize that, hey, I can take in answers as natural language and I can result in natural language, which is pretty accurate of what people are asking me for. So going forward, you're going to see more collations like this, and there are going to be companies like that. Definitely you can think about combining technologies and making something that is that's more susceptible to multiple technologies or multiple uh, questions or challenges around you, and it will be able to gather those things and it will be able to work on those things.
Okay, so if I have to start somewhere, I should probably select one field and then try to go into it is instead of
Yeah,
trying to culminate everything into
correct.
uh,
Yeah. So let's become an expert in one, and then we can think about how we can become an expert in another one. So AI and ML, just like algorithms, are now a computational sciences tool, I would say, and every person should have some knowledge about it who is in computer sciences. So yeah, I mean, I want to keep my predispositions out of this for your decision making, but I would say that if you're interested in that line, then probably learning about these technologies is not a bad idea. It's actually something that's going to bring you forward and give you another set of tools that you can use for advancing your knowledge and solving challenging questions.
okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
Varun, a question from my side.
Sure.
Uh, Suppose now there are a number of people who have started late, or those who have
Mhm.
already finished with their graduation, they are already at the job place. Now
Yeah.
they feel left out with these new emerging technologies. What would you advise them?
Mhm. Yes. So now the thing that I feel that people are doing right now, especially with the pandemic going on, is that people are actually taking courses and they're taking side classes for learning these technologies and try to sharpen their skills. And I know a lot of individuals who are essentially creating even meetups. And I'm part of the C++ user group over here in the Mountain View, wherein we go and we talk about multiple technologies, upcoming new features for C++ for standards 2019 and 2020. And we talk about those things because these are the interest groups which are essentially aligned more towards these technologies. But coming out of technologies, coming out of languages and moving more towards technologies, there are multiple ways by which you can sharpen your skills. One is, first of all, to do some courses on the sides, learn while you are in your profession. Even if so, I have been part of multiple technologies, being an application engineer at different stages of the computing. But my curiosity essentially leads me to learning some new technologies once I'm free, giving me some time either through some Coursera courses or some other online courses that I can look at. And I actually honestly speaking, a couple of your sessions for C++, I keep watching on YouTube and I love and enjoy them too. So it's a great idea to keep sharpening the skills. And once these things are done, you can always meet up with like-minded people. When I was in Pune, I knew that we had a Pune CSI chapter, which involved a lot of new technologies, and we were talking about cloud computing when people didn't know about cloud computing as such. So these are the ways you can socialize and probably interact with people and maybe learn more about it. So I guess these are the routes, and the rest of the things are training. But I don't think nowadays companies are actually investing in training too much. Yeah.
Very true. Very true. Anybody has a question?
Yes, sir.
Yes, please.
Hello, sir. I'm a final year student.
Yeah.
And actually, we don't have an opportunity to opt for these courses. All we have to do is self-study, exploring new technologies. So I've opted for Devops, and I've started doing that. I want to know your views on Devops, whether it's worth it, or what are the market trends for Devops?
So for the DevOps and engineering ops, I'm going to talk about both of them. There are two aspects to it. So DevOps and engineering ops are some things that every company needed. Unfortunately, some of the smaller players treat it as something else, which is not part of engineering. And I would try to ask you to refrain from going that route too. DevOps essentially lets the development operations run smoothly. That involves a lot of built environment creation, and that involves a lot of panel, programming and other advanced concept of, how to solve certain challenges quickly. For example, I was part of a company which was making network operating systems, and we were making network operating system and building them every 3 hours to be smoke tested. Because you are doing that so often, and the operating system building, if you have looked at the Linux kernel, the compilation takes a couple of hours. If you have this kind of model, you would never be able to sustain a pipeline kind of a development. So CI/CD is something that you cannot achieve over there. The way one of the DevOps actually solved this problem essentially was by creating an elastic compilation setup of multiple devices and then collating all that into a single device and then creating an image out of it. What I'm trying to say is that DevOps has great potential, and it's always going to be something that's going to be challenging. But there are people who would stick towards, hey, maintaining source code or just release management, things like that. Don't go towards that route. DevOps is a good area. A lot of companies, they need it. Yes, there are more operations than programming, but that's a choice that you will have to make if you want to go towards that route. So yeah, that's what my understanding is, and my suggestion will be on this.
Varun, as you rightly pointed out,
Mhm.
yes, somebody else has a question?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, let us quickly, you can ask a question.
Sir, I'm interested in cybersecurity. So I wanted to do some certification, let's say CISCP. But for that, there is a prerequisite. You should have experience like 2 to 5 years in in their domains. So will it be an entry point for me as a in cybersecurity field, or
I'm sure if you, yeah, yeah,
uh,
go ahead.
what can I do apart from this honors?
So apart from this honors, there will be online courses, and there will be certain places where you can find online some resources which are related to cybersecurity. Unfortunately, they're less. I know that they're less, but doing certification courses itself is something that should route you towards it. You can, as a engineering student fresh out of college, you're not expected essentially to have a specialized knowledge about anything, to be honest. So if you look at companies such as Symantec or McAfee, or anything that has a security wing, or they are security domain specific, you can get into it and then probably help them by learning about the program, and probably promote yourself as a person who wants to take up these trainings and certifications. So these are some of the ways to go towards it. Um, yeah, I guess that's one of the things that can be done. Yeah.
Anybody has a question? Last question, or I'll summarize. Okay. Correct me, Varun, if I'm wrong. Uh, it was a wonderful kind of discussion that we had. What was that we understood out of it is like there are so many options that are available for us as far as our career goes, and this technology that is vast. It is for us to have a very good understanding of multiple technologies, and you could spend your time mastering one of those.
Yes.
It is not like we can be a master in every aspect, but having knowledge of one area will definitely help you in your area of expertise also. So you
Hmm.
talked about the Docker, or you talked about DevOps, you talked about continuous development, continuous integration, CI, and other things. So that will otherwise help in every domain. It's not like
Yeah.
it will help us only in one particular aspect. So if I understand what you said, is like it's better invest some time in continuous learning. So let's say
Hmm.
CI as continuous learning for us, and
Yeah.
explore new areas, and be ready to utilize the developments which are happening in those domains into your area of specialization. Does that make sense,
Absolutely.
Varun?
Yes, absolutely. I think you summed it up absolutely perfectly. So, giving my background, I'm actually an SD, senior SD at Amazon, Lab 126. I'm part of the Alexa group. I have probably around more than 10 years of experience in this industry now. Have a master's in computer sciences and engineering degree. Been working with the work that I'm currently doing essentially is to provide a visual context to Alexa. If you think about talking to Alexa, whenever you talk about it, you get a smart screen device which gives you some visual context that comes with us, especially for people who are third-party OEMs, which wants their devices to be Alexa built-in. Then let it be televisions to smart glasses to anything. We supply our software. We are open source. You can take a look at Alexa Smart Screen SDK. I'm one of the former students of Rishikesh Sir and Impetus Technologies. I've had great time and probably learned a great deal under him. And I still, I think the things that we learned when I was at Impetus is something that I still cherish, as well as I have never got the time to learn again. The kind of enthusiasm and the view towards the technology and the industry that you can get by learning some of the courses is phenomenal. I think that's something that I would say I got to learn over here. Before this, I was working for different companies back in India, I was working for Dassault Systems, which is a CAD CAM monopoly company. Essentially, it creates one of the biggest software which is there in the market called Katia. Comes with Simulia and other players in the market. I have been part of this computer security systems working for Pharynix, and I've been part of networking for Dell EMC for a while. So that's what my profile is. Yeah, just wanted to let you guys know whom you were talking to.
Thank you, Varun. Thank you for sparing such a long time. We had scheduled for half an hour and we have gone up to 1 hour now. So
no, this was so interesting to me. I think, I could have spent another hour or two just talk about individual one of them. So yeah, I'm sorry for the students. It's late over there. It's 7 o'clock in the morning since I got up at 5:30 to prepare and be ready for this thing. So it was not possible to do before that.
I appreciate it was on a very short notice, and I also got to know about the deadline that they have it tomorrow. So I appreciate the efforts that you put in to gather this thing and put into a wonderful way you have presented. Thank you a lot from my side and from all the students who are attending the session and from the side of Impetus. Thanks a lot for sparing such a time and having such an insightful kind of discussion for the students. Thank you, Varun, once again.
Thank you so much. Stay safe, everyone.
Yeah. I am a bit greedy. I still want one more session from your side, talking about areas of your interest. This is something that we had identified as a concern for the students. I would like you to address, depending on what you see for the future and how can one prepare for the future.
Absolutely, yes, we can definitely go towards that also. That's an interesting one here. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Varun.
All right. Good luck, everyone. Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, sir, for the insight.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Rishikesh, sir. Thank you, Varun, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So just a parting question. How frequently do you have to learn new technologies? Like, are you exposed to new technologies?
Yeah, it's a continuous process essentially. You can keep learning these technologies on a weekend, or if you have a good enough circle around you, they will probably promote you towards newer discussions. So yeah, more often than usual, it comes up with discussions when you are in professional capacity of how we can leverage one technology versus the other, and I guess the curiosity. This is one of the sayings from Stephen Hawking that humanity's continuous quest for curiosity is responsible for its super intelligence, and I think that's what we should hope for. We should actually keep learning, and every Saturday, Sunday, spend some time essentially to Google and learn, and probably just watch a YouTube video to get some information about some technology or the other. And previously, you didn't used to be there. Now the content is so much available that you won't have any problem. What you need to have is clarity of content, quality of content, and I think with Rishikesh sir, you have got everything right there. In fact, even now I'm watching his videos, so just imagine how relevant and informational he is at any point. So yeah, I think that's having a good coach is important, and having a good mentor is important, as well as these things are something that you can definitely take a look at. Yeah.
True, sir. I completely agree. Thank you very much.
Yeah. All right. Have a good one, guys.
Thank you. Thank you, Varun.